participants and also provide a chance to enhance their knowledge. It's an honor for me to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Rohit Lorenzo Garu. He has a tremendous expertise in the area of VLSI design and memory chips. He has received PhD degree from NIT Silchar in 2017. He has been a postdoctoral fellow at IIT Guwahati in 2018. He also worked as an assistant professor in NIT Kurukshetra and also in NIT Delhi. Currently, he is working as an assistant professor in the School of Electronics at VIT University, Amaravati. He was awarded Gauri Memorial Award from the Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, New Delhi. He was authored various papers in reputed journals and national international conferences. This day provides us a great opportunity to learn about low power VLSI design. We are glad to have you here with us, sir. And also, we are looking forward to getting more knowledge from you. Now, I invite today's speaker, Dr. Rohit Lorenzo Garu, to take over the session. Sir?
Sir Rohit sir. Hello, sir Rohit sir. Hello, Rohit sir. Hello. Hello. Sir Rohit sir. Hello. Hello, sir Rohit sir. మేడం ఒక 5 minutes సార్ మళ్ళీ రీజాయిన్ అవుతా ఒక 5 minutes. హలో మేడం.
సార్
సార్ మళ్ళీ రీజాయిన్ అవుతున్నాడు, వాయిస్ రావట్లేదు అని, అందుకని రీజాయిన్ అవుతున్నారు. ఒక 5 minutes వెయిట్.
ఓకే సార్.
హలో సార్. సార్ హలో. Rohit sir. Hello.
వాసు సార్
అది
ఇప్పుడైతే
సార్కి వాయిస్ ప్రాబ్లం వస్తుందని చెప్పాడు. మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయ్యి మళ్ళీ చూసాడు, ఒకసారి వాయిస్ రావట్లేదంట. మైక్ కూడా మార్చా అని చెప్తున్నారు.
వాయిస్ నెట్ ప్రాబ్లమే సార్, అది
ఆ?
ఇంటర్నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం. అది వాయిస్ రావట్లేదంటే అతను ల్యాప్టాప్ లో ఉన్న మైక్ ప్రాబ్లం ఎట్లా చూడాలి మరి.
మనం చెక్ చేసినప్పుడు వచ్చింది కదా వీడియో ఆడియో అన్ని, మీరు ఆ రోజు కనెక్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు.
అవును అవును
ఆ?
వచ్చింది కదా సార్, ఆ రోజు సార్ వీడియో కూడా పెట్టారు, చూసాను నేను.
అదే అంటుంది. అదే ఇప్పుడు జస్ట్ ఫోన్ చేసేది చెప్తున్నారు, ఆడియో రావట్లేదా, వినపట్లేదంటే లేదు వినపట్లేదు కదా.
ఆ రోజు వాయిస్ కూడా ఎంఐ ఆడిబుల్ అంటే నేను చెప్పా, ఓకే సార్ అంతా ఓకే అని కూడా అన్నా.
ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ చెక్ చేస్తాను. ఆఫ్
సార్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేస్తున్నట్లున్నారు అండ్ చాట్ బాక్స్ లో కూడా మెసేజ్ పెట్టారు సార్, ఆమె ఆడిబుల్ అని చెప్పి.
Sir, Rohit sir, screen is also not sharing, sir. Not visible. Sir. హలో రవి సార్.
సార్ చెప్పండి.
మరి మీ యూజర్ నేమ్ పాస్వర్డ్ ఇచ్చి ఎంటర్ చేస్తే వస్తుందా?
వస్తుంది. ఎవరికైనా చేయొచ్చు సార్.
కాదండి, ఇప్పుడు సార్ దానికి రావట్లేదు కదా, అందుకని మీ దాన్ని యూజర్ నేమ్ పాస్వర్డ్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తే అవుతుంది.
అవుతుంది.
అలా చెక్ చేయిద్దాం అయితే.
నా యూజర్ ఐడి పాస్వర్డ్ ఇచ్చేసి చేయమని చెప్పండి. మీకు పెట్టాను కదా సార్ వాట్సాప్ లో.
ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ పెట్టరా, నేను ఫార్వర్డ్ చేస్తాను సార్కి.
అది మైక్ ప్రాబ్లం అనేది దీని వల్ల కాదు సార్, డివైస్ లో ప్రాబ్లం. అది
నెట్ ప్రాబ్లం.
నెట్ లేదంటే డివైస్ ప్రాబ్లం.
అంటే మొన్న వచ్చింది కదా అందుకని అంటది.
మొన్న వచ్చినాయా?
మొన్న మీరు చెక్ చేసినప్పుడు వచ్చింది కదా.
వచ్చింది, నేను మాట్లాడా కూడా ఆయనతో. ఆయన వీడియో కూడా షేర్ చేశాడు, వీడియో లైవ్ చాట్ కూడా ఇదయ్యాడు.
ఇప్పుడు వీడియో కూడా రావట్లేదు, స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేశారు, స్క్రీన్ రాలేదు కదా సార్. అది
చేశాడు సార్, ఇప్పుడు చేశాడు. లోపర్ వేలెస్ పడింది.
పడిందా? స్క్రీన్ వచ్చిందా? ఇప్పుడు నాకు కనిపించట్లేదులే. అయితే ఆడియో ప్రాబ్లం.
వీడియో ఇది స్క్రీన్ కూడా షేర్ అయింది. మళ్ళీ పోయింది.
రీజాయిన్ అవ్వమని చెప్పాను, అందుకే మళ్ళీ వచ్చిపోయి ఉంటుంది. రీజాయిన్ అంటున్నా.
అదే నాకు పెడతా చూడండి అవి.
వాట్సాప్ చేయండి, మళ్ళీ దాంతో లాగిన్ అవ్వమని చెప్తాను సార్.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
My voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Screen is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, you can open your PPT, sir. It is visible us.
So, good afternoon all. Thank you. Sorry, little bit some problem.
Okay, no problem, sir. Okay.
Technical problem. So, it's a privilege to be a part of this workshop, and I can see there is a number of participants here. So today's my talk is on the low power VLSI design. Okay. So currently I'm working as an assistant professor in School of Electronics, VIT. So today's talk outline, we will study why we go for low power. Okay, why there is a requirement for low power, and what are the sources of power dissipation, and why leakage power is important. Okay, and then we'll see the impact of process parameter, okay? And the other mechanism of leakage components, and what are the techniques to minimize power dissipation. We will see some techniques because it's not able, cannot come to this. So we'll start with the power dissipation. So why we go for the power dissipation? If you see the design for low power has become nowadays one of the major complex, very large scale integration. So as we are seeing nowadays, the integration is going. A lot of features we are adding. Okay. So to add the more features, we are adding more numbers. Okay, and all this because of transistor densities is more on chip, and because of that power dissipation. Is there any problem in the voice? Am I clear? Yes. Anybody please reply me. My voice is clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now another second point, the increasing prominence of portable system and the need to limit power consumption in very high density ULSI chips have led to rapid and innovative developments in low power. So nowadays you can say it is the era of portable system. Okay, and we can see all our battery operated portable systems are there, and battery life is very limited for the portable systems. Okay, so we need a technique, or we need a circuit that consume less power dissipation. So you can okay, so what are the problems comes because of high power dissipation? So if you see the power dissipation, it is coming out in the form of heat. Okay, so high power dissipation leads to high weighted batteries. Okay, reduce mobility, because if the battery size is more, the overall device will increase it, so it will reduce the mobility. And we need a cooling technique, because it is coming out in the form of heat, so it will increase the cooling cost also. We'll see later on the slide. And furthermore, you can see the increased operation. It's obvious if you use the cooling cost, cooling devices, so it will increase the overall operational cost. And because of excessive heat, there is a reduced reliability also. Okay. Why we go for low power? Why it is more? See one by one. So earlier, if you see, if you ask anybody what's of any processor, so they will tell it will operate certain millions of instructions per second. Okay, so people earlier, they are morely concerned about the speed. So until recently, the performance has been synonyms with circuit speed or processing, okay, power. And earlier, the power consumption were of secondary concern. So people are not talk about the power dissipations earlier stage. Okay. Now, if you see in deep in nanometer technology, power has become a most important issue. Because why nowadays it is important? Because there is increased transistor count. Okay, and now the chip they are operating in gigahertz range. If you early see, they are operating is in the range of megahertz, but nowadays you see the chips are operating the gigahertz range, and you can say the power and frequency is directly related. Okay, so we'll see later how it is directly related, and furthermore there is greater device leakage current. So in deep sum nanometer design, the leakage current is more. Okay. Now, increased process parameter variability lead to aggressive scaling has created problem in reliability and testing. So furthermore problems will come because of. Okay. Now, all of you studied. All of you knows, I think, Moore's law. Okay. So this is a picture of Gordon Moore, and it is he is the founder of Intel. Okay, so you can see this is, and just telling in 2017 the transistor size is reaches to 1 billion of transistors on a single. So as you can see, as that technology, as the generation goes on increasing, the integration level on processor is goes on increasing. Okay, so as a so uh, number of transistor on a single chip is doubles every 2 years, and in somewhere it is written also 18 months. So approximately we are telling doubles every 2 years. Okay. Now, if you see the different technology generation as the years pass on, if you see the different processor technology, you can see here there is increment in the power DC. Okay, and it goes on continuous goes to freeze. Okay, so we need a, what is the solution? We need some technique to reduce this power dissipation. Okay, now this is taken, this is up to the 2000 I have 2019, and the latest this is a release of May August. Yes. So May August 2019, it is a Core i7. It is Intel processor. So mobile technology and desktop technology. And here you can see they reach up to 14 nanometer, and for this mobile technology they reach up to 10 nanometer. Okay, so this much, and they have reached. So it is a up to 2019. So what I want to convey from this, the different technology like they have started from 2009. If you see the 45, 32, 22, 14, and 10. So you can see the device dimension is shrink down. Okay. So if the device dimension is shrink down, so what are the consequences of this? What will be the consequences because of device dimension is shrink down? So if we look here, you can see from this here, the device dimension, as the device dimension is shrink down, you can see that the power goes on increase. Okay, so this is taken from ITRS, the International Technology Roadmap Semiconductor. Okay, so power goes on increasing in deep submicron technology as the device dimension is shrink down. So what is the reason actually why the, if the device dimension is shrink down, why the power goes on increasing? There is a reason. It is because of the leakage current. Okay. So it is because of the leakage current. So you've seen the details. Okay. So my voice is synchronized with the video with the PPT. Is there any lag?
No,
And
sir,
anybody
no.
is-
No,
no
sir.
lag, no?
No lag, sir.
Thank you. So another thing, we can see because of increase in power dissipation. So if you see these high performance, so high performance processor consumes heavy power. Okay, high performance processor consumes heavy power, and the cost associated with packaging and cooling is prohibitive. Okay, so if you notice, if you ever notice on the CPU, I think sometimes you experience, if you open the CPU, you see the processor. The processor, there is a heat sink and there is a big cooling fan is there on the processor we are keeping. So the function of that the cooling fan is to reduce the heat. That is, heat is coming out from the processor. So it will, the purpose is to cool down. Okay, if we don't do this, so then your processor may malfunction. Okay, so we need a technique, we need a low power methodology to be used to reduce the cost of packaging and cooling. Okay, so we need a technique to solve this problem or to reduce this and packaging and cooling cost. Okay, now portable system. So you can see increasing customer demand for handheld battery operated devices such as a cell phone, tablet and laptops. Okay, so nowadays if you can see the mobile phone with limitless functionality, all things are available, a lot of features now they have added on the mobile phone. Okay, and these actually required a limitless power supply. Okay, so the growth rate of this portable equipment is very high. You can see the electronic market. You can see every month you can say new devices are launching, new mobile phones are launching with added new features. So growth rate is very high. Okay, but if you see the all these devices are battery operated, but battery life is primary concern. Okay, but unfortunately the battery technology has not kept up the energy requirement of the portable system. So we can see like different technology generation. You can see the shrink down. There is advancement in the technology node, but in the battery technology there is no such advancement. Means there is some advancement, but it's not synchronizing with the technology. You can see this graph over the years. The battery technology is increasing at this rate. Okay, our power consumption of the device is increasing it at this rate. So you can see there is a huge gap in battery and this power consumption. Okay, so it's not actually matching. So commercial success of these products depends upon the size, weight, cost, computing power. So all these, the electronics products, the commercial success depend upon these factors. So low power design methodology is very important to make them commercially viable. Okay, if you want, if your mobile has good battery backup or laptop have good battery backup, then it will be very useful and it will be more commercially success. Okay, now another thing, increasing power density. It's taken from the Intel. So as the year passes on, you can see the technology generation goes on increasing. So you can see actually the power dissipation is coming out in the form of heat, and you can imagine the temperature it just reaches to the hot plate, like you use for the cooking. So that much amount of heat nowadays it's coming out from the chips. Okay. So now another thing, environment, it also affects our environment also. Okay. So according to estimate of US Environmental Protection Agency, 80% of the power consumption by office equipment are due to computing equipment and large part from the okay. So actually there is a energy star program. You can say, or it is a power management technique. You ever notice in the if you leave your system, automatically the screen saver will come, screen become dark, or automatically it go in the standby mode. Okay, so that is actually the energy star program. Okay. So the purpose of this energy start program to minimize the power. When your system is not in use, so automatically it will go in the standby mode. Okay. So power is dissipated mostly in the form of heat, and you can see all the your computer labs are equipped with air conditions, and that heat actually it transfer AC what air conditioners are doing that they transferring heat of ultimately it's affecting our environment. So to reduce these adverse effects, there is energy start program that I told, and there is a power management standard for desktop and laptops has emerged. Okay. Now nowadays there is a CMOS is the technology of choice. Although we have another technology FinFET and people are doing a lot of research in the CNT FET and other graphene FET, but you can say all are not commercially success as CMOS technology. Okay, and it is very difficult to remove CMOS from the market. Very difficult. So research is going on to replace, but till now there is a you can say it's not very success as like CMOS technology. So what are the advantage of CMOS technology and why we choosing this technology? So all of you know that is the CMOS is complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So in this there is a two types of transistor we are using. The one is PMOS and NMOS, and that's it is a complementary. Okay. So what is the advantage? Ease of fabrication. So we can easily fabricate this CMOS type of circuit. Good noise margin and very robust technique, like in various hazardous condition it can work. Lower switching activity, and because of this the power dissipation is less. Good input and output decoupling, no charge sharing problem, and availability of matured logic and synthesis tool. So if you see all of your tools used like CAD and Synopsys, I think those who are in VLSI background or might have used these tools. So you can see all the libraries are available. That is a CMOS space. So mature tools are available for this CMOS technology. Okay, and but nothing is one-sided in this world, because if there is an advantage, there is a disadvantages also. Okay, so like large number of transistor and larger chip area. Why it is because if I want to design a single logic, like if I want to design an inverter, single input, then I need a two transistor. If there is a two input NAND or NOR, then I required four transistor in that. Okay, so it actually requires more number of transistors. Weak output driving capability, larger number of standard cell required. Okay, that is, and glitching power dissipation. Later I will discuss what is the glitching power dissipation and short circuit power dissipation. Okay, so these are the disadvantages in this technology. We will see all this. Now, if I want a solution of anything, like my purpose, I want to reduce the power dissipation. So we should know what is the enemy. So enemy means what here? Sources. Okay. So what are the sources of power dissipation? What is the enemies? So if we able to find out what are the enemies, then we able to find a solution. Okay. So basically, there are two main sources of power dissipation in VLSI circuit, namely the dynamic and static. Okay, so dynamic mostly we are telling that is in active mode. So dynamic power, or you can say active mode, and static and saying standby. Okay. So what is they telling? Dynamic power is consumed when the device is in active mode. That is when the signals are changing their state. Like we are but in standby, no single signal is changing. Okay, just I'll tell you. Yes. So suppose this is a inverter, okay, and suppose this is VDD ground. This is a PMOS NMOS. So when the input is changing here and it is connected to the supply, power consumption your dynamic. Now suppose it's connected to the supply, but here you are not changing the input. You are not changing the input. Suppose if it is, you can say it is fixed to one value, you are not changing. The transition not there. So at that time, the power dissipation we call is static. Okay. So I hope the difference is clear to all. The power dissipation in CMOS equation. Okay. See, the dynamic power dissipation is 30 to 50%. It is nowadays, and the formula is alpha F. And the short circuit power dissipation, so it is actually the part of this dynamic only. Okay, the VDD into IP, you will see what is IP, and VDD into LEP. So nowadays you can see most dominant is leak. It is a dominant nowadays. Deep submicron technology. Okay, we will see why
Hello.
Sir, it is not audible, sir.
Hello, sir.
Madam, it is not audible, madam.
Yeah, sir. Please wait for 5 minutes, sir. We'll discuss.
No, actually, I'm thinking whether it is problem my side or your side, madam. That's what.
No, sir. From speaker side, sir. Please wait for 5 minutes.
Okay, madam.
I request all the participants, please wait for 5 minutes. There is a network problem from speaker's side. So sorry for that trouble. Please wait for another 5 minutes.
Hello. Hello, am I audible to all? Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Your voice is fine, sir.
Yes, sir.
Comfortable for me, sir.
Little bit is, I think it disconnected in the middle. I connected again.
Sorry, sir.
I think it disconnected, na? My slide is going on proper or not? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Slide is visible to all?
No, sir.
Slide is not visible. My
Yes. No, sir, it's not visible.
okay. Let me check.
Class.
Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Now check. Now visible slide.
Right now it is not visible, sir.
I'm just changing.
Repeating.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. So tell me, sir.
Just I change the connection.
Hello.
Yes. Now check.
Yes, sir. Now it's
slide is
visible.
visible.
Yes, sir.
So we are discussing this dynamic power dissipation. Okay. So you know that dynamic power dissipation is in active mode. Here you can see this inverter is connected to this CL load. Okay. Now, as we know, the energy stored in the capacitor is half CL V square VD. So energy delivered from the power supply is how much? 0 to infinite IT into VDD. So simply we'll put this value, I value, and we can calculate. Simple, it is CV square DD. Okay. So in the question, what they are mentioning, if your input is changing from 1 to 0, 1 to 0 means at 0, this transistor will turn on PMOS and it will charge. Okay. So you can see, if you see there, half of the energy from the power supply is stored in the capacitor, and the other half of the energy is converted into the heat in the PMOS. So you can see this current is passing through this. So there is some resistance in the transistor. So half of the energy will stored here, half of it is converted into the heat. Okay. So the power dissipated depends upon only on the load capacitance. Okay, not on the size of the transistor or the speed at which the gate switches. Okay. Now suppose the gate switches at some average frequency this, okay, over some interval this. So the load will be charge and discharge will be T into Fs times, means this is the frequency. So just if you see in the previous equation, we have add these terms. It will be some interval and it have some frequency switches at some average frequency. So this term will be added. Okay, so overall term will become this. So this is actually called this is actually called the dynamic power dissipation. This is dynamic power dissipation because it arises from the switching of the load. Okay, or sometimes we also call this is switching power dissipation. Both are same. And because most gears do not switch every clock cycle, it is often convenient to express switching frequencies and activity factor. So you can see if you say the entire chip, if you see a lot of it is designed with lot of gates. So sometimes they have different nodes are there, and there is a node transition factor is also there that is associated with all the connections and the logic gates. Okay, so that one term or we will add here. So that is overall the switching power dissipation is alpha CV square F. So this is we call your node transition factor, means when it is switches from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. So it is we called activity factor. Okay. So what is the formula? Alpha CV square F for dynamic power dissipation. So here you can see the dynamic power dissipation depends upon the supply voltage, frequency, capacitor, and the alpha activity factor. Okay, so if I want to design a technique to reduce this power dissipation, simply if I able to change this factor, I can simply reduce the power dissipation. If I change the supply voltage, and automatically it will reduce. But there are certain limitations, like if you reduce too much supply voltage, then there will be effect on the performance and the delay, all these things. So we have to take care of this, because in VLSI, if you go, there will be always there is a trade-off. If one thing you want to change, the other effect will come into the picture. So it's just simply like if you are taking the medicine, there is some side effect also. So that are also associated with that, and we need to take care. Okay, we will see. Now another is short circuit power dissipation. Okay, so if you see here, this PMOS and NMOS transistor, that is a pull up, and this is under comes under pull up, and this is a pull down. And sometimes when your input is in, so this is sometimes partially on. You can say it is not completely on. It is partially on. So why when it is happening, like when your input is switching at a very slow rate, like this. It is a waveform is not like this input. You can say it is like this. Okay. So at the rising, or you can say at the falling edge, there is a short circuit power dissipation. Okay. So at the rising and falling edge, what will happen if your input is like this, or if it is going falling at this? So what happened? There is a path will form from VDD to ground, that is ISC current, and because of this, there is a short circuit power dissipation. So if you define the short circuit, is simply ISC into. So, or sometimes you can write I peak. Now we will see some factor, the switching activity factor. Okay, switching activity factor. So we'll see how we can calculate the switching activity. So if you see the NAND gate, there is a 0 0 0 1 1 0. If you see here, there is 3 1 we are getting. Okay, and 1 times 0. If I want to calculate the switching activity, I should know what is the probability of 1 and probability of 0. Okay, so switching activity is just transition is P naught into P1. P naught is the probability of 0, and this is probability of 1. So if you see in this NAND gate, the probability of 1 is 1 by 4, because 2 inputs have 4 combination, 1 by 4. And if you see here, that is a P1, the probability is 3 by 4. So 3 output. Now, if I want to calculate the overall switching activity, simply it is a product of P0, P1. So 1 by 4 into 3 by 4, and finally we get 3 by 60. So there is also a formula. To calculate the switching activity. If you know the number of zeros and 1 at the output, we can find out the switching activity. So P naught is N naught by 2N. So N defines the number of zeros. Like if I want P naught, number of zeros here is 1, and 2 to the power N means 2 to the power 2 number of inputs. So simply it is 1 by 4. The same probability of 0 is 1 by 4. And if I want to calculate the probability of N, so simply there is a direct formula. Also simply N1 is 2N minus N0, or directly you can say N1 by 2N. So it is just simply 3 by 4. So if you just multiply this and this, so N1 we can also calculate, that is 2N minus N0. So this is the overall formula. So in this way, you can simply calculate the switching activity of any gate. Okay. Now, same way you can calculate switching activity for inverter is how much? 4. Where either it is 0 or 1. So 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, 1 by 4. NAND and NOR and 3 by 16, and NOR and NOR 3 by 16. So it will remain same, it will not change. Okay. Activity factor. Activity factor of a node is the probability that it switches from 0 to 1. So logic function, by analyzing the probability that each node is 1, we can estimate the activity factor. Okay. So simply, if I want to calculate Pi is the probability of the node I. Okay, so Pi is the probability node I. Okay, and one then Pi bar is equal to 1 minus P is not I. So this is the transition 1. And if I tell Pi 1 minus Pi minus what you can bar. So overall switching activity is that is Pi bar. So switching probability, that is obviously you can calculate for AND gate P into PB. If AND three inputs are there, so simply this. If all two is there, it is simply 1 minus PA bar PB bar. So these are, in this way you can calculate. We'll see some examples. Okay, and normally when in MTech classes I'm teaching how to calculate these switching activities also. So we'll see one or two problems. So suppose in the question, this is question and A, B, C, D. So if I want to calculate the question asks what is the probability at this node, activity at this node and this node. Okay. So simply here you can see this is a NAND gate. Okay. So NAND gate, what is the formula here? 1 minus PA PV. Okay. So normally we are asked here checking for transition from 0 to 1. Okay, so transition from 0 to 1, that is a P1. So in all the cases, what probability from 0 to 1. So determine the activity factor in the circuit assuming input list. So they are asking for. So what is the P for the NAND? That is 3 by 4. Okay, and activity here, it will be simply here will 3 by 4 into 1 minus 3 by 4. So overall, yes. So all if you calculate, it will come by sorry 3 by 16. 3 by 16. Okay. Similarly, will also come. Here is also NAND gate. So 3 by 4 and 3 by 16. Now here you see there is a bubble. Here is a bubble is there. Okay. So what is the probability at this bubble? Simply 3 by 4, 1 minus 3 by 4. So here will be 1 by 4 and here will be 1 by 4. So what is the probability here? It is just multiplication of this 1 by 4 and 1 by 60. And alpha is what? 1 by 16, 1 by 16, and simply the answer is alpha equal to 15 by 2 plus 6. Okay, so if we is it clear? I think, is it clear to all? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
now, if the suppose the question is suppose this what is it, calculate the probability in the switching active factor and the circuit
Sir,
is given
small question I
like
have, sir.
yes, please.
Whether we have to calculate number of ones overall output or in between outputs also.
We have to calculate here also this every node you have to calculate. In the question they are asked here, but you can see here is a bubble is provided here. So when it is bubble means nothing, just it is a inverting. So when it is come here, it will change. Okay, so you can say that every node they have done the calculation. This is your query or anything I'm able to answer or not? The query. Yes, your doubt is clear.
Sir, clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now if I want to calculate probability and switching activity factor in this, okay, and suppose the question is given like this, okay, so how we can calculate? So they're asking just probability to 1, and so simply in case of if you see the inverter, that is either 0, the probability is 1 by half. Okay, and what will the activity factor? Just 1 by 2 into 1 minus 1 by 2. It will be always there. If the probability you know, it will be simply this into 1 minus this one of product. So simply what will the activity factor? 1 by 4. Now here I got the activity factor probability is 1 by 2. Now if suppose if it is given and this is and you don't know the probability here and here is no gate is connected, then you need to consider 1 by half. Okay, 1 by half. So simply this is the NAND. Okay, this is the NAND gate, and NAND gate here we know if I want to calculate the probability, that is 1 minus PAP PV. So same here. Here is 1 by 2, 1 by 2 means 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 4. Okay, and NAND gate we know 1 minus we are taking because this is the NAND gate. So simply here 1 minus 1 by 4, and simply it will be 3 by 4. So see here it is 3 by 4, and again you will get P1 into P1 bar. If you calculate, so it will come around 3 by 60. Now you can check here. This is the node. Here the probability is half. We know. Again, I don't know either. Nothing is connected. Again, I will take it is half. Okay, half. So simply here 1 by 2, 1 by 2, that is 1 by 4. But now you here is a NOR gate. So how we will take for the NOR gate? It is simply PA bar and PB bar. So PA bar, PB bar. Okay. So PA bar, PB bar simply it is a half. If I take 1 minus 1 by half, it is simply half. And 1 minus 1 by half, it is simply half. So overall it will come here 1 by 4. So overall the probability will come here at this node, that is P3, 1 by 4. And what will be the activity factor? Can anybody tell what is the activity here? A3, alpha 3. It is simply will do same we have done here for this. So 1 by 4, 1 minus 1 by 4. Okay. So again here it will be 3 by 60. Now if you check here, it is at this node 1 by 4 and at this node 3 by 4, and again this is unconnected is 1 by 2. So overall if you simply multiply, this is again what? NOR gate. So just you have to take PA, PB, PC bar, and if you multiply it and all this, you get 3 by 32, and simply it is just simple, and simply the activity factor will come, that is a PA into PV bar, and it will come around 87 by 1024. So just it will come like this. So is it clear to all this one? So I hope this is clear to all. If anybody have doubt in this, please ask. Okay. So in this way, actually, we're finding the overall activity factor. And with the help of this, actually, we are evaluating the power. So like the one factor, that is alpha CV square F. This term actually we are calculating. Okay. So if we are able to estimate this, so if there is a more activity, it means there is a more power dissipation. So basically, this activity factor is dynamic type of. Okay, it will come if there is a power dissipation, is dynamic power dissipation. Okay. Now another thing. Yes. Now another is glitching power dissipation. So glitching power dissipation is happens because of delay. Okay. So here you can see there is a two NOR gate. It is connected A, B, C, and here is the output. Here, so here is your output is O1. Here is output is O2. Okay. Now suppose here first I am giving 1, 0, 1. Okay. So because of this 1, 0, what will happen? 1, 0 means my output is 0. Okay. My output is 0. So at first it is 0. Okay. And here is also 0, 1. The final output is here 0. So again you can see here it's coming for 1, 0, 1. Now suppose if I change the pattern, 0, 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0, 0. So what will happen? If 0, 0 comes, means here it should become 1. It will change to 1. And again, here is 0 is there, 0 is there, then it will switch is 1. And here, because of 1, 0, again it will be 0. Now you notice here for a short period of time there is 1. See, if it is 1, 0, 1 or 0, 0, 0, 0, my final output should be here 0. But you can notice here for a short period of time it rises to 1, again it goes to 0. Why it is happening? This is happening because of finite delay of this logic gate. Because earlier if you see the output is 0, and when I change the pattern to 0, 0, it will switch to 1. So changing from 0 to 1, there is a finite delay. There will be a certain delay. So earlier it is available 1 here. Okay, earlier there is available 0 here, and my next pattern is 0. Here is, so directly 0, 0 means 1. Okay, when this changes, and suddenly after that it will changes to 0. So what we can see, there is a transition here at the output 0 to 1. Now 1 to 0. And suppose at the output, if you suppose the capacitor is connected load, so first is transition from 0 to 1. Now again 1 to 0, and because of that there is charging and discharging. Okay, because of charging and discharging there will be a switching activity. Okay, so because of this switching activity there is a dynamic power dissipation. There is a, you can say, the glitching power dissipation. So there will be a glitching power dissipation. So this glitching power is dissipation because of delay in gates. Okay. Now, static power dissipation. So static power dissipation we already seen when your chip is static power is consumed when a chip is not switching. So prior to 90 nanometer node, leakage power was not primary concern, because if you go above 100 nanometer in like you can say 350 nanometer, or you can say 120, 240 nanometers, or above 300 nanometers, the dynamic was dominant. Leakage is less, but dynamic is more. Okay. Now you can see in deep nanometer process technology, low threshold voltage, thin oxide, leakage can be accounted as a third, or it's now dominant. So deep, so you can say deep sub micron technology, you can say the below 90 nanometer. So nowadays the technology we have seen it is reached up to the 10 nanometer. So in this deep nanometer technology, the leakage is dominant. Leakage is more. Okay, so we will see why this is leakage power is more and dominant. Okay, so I just want to take 5-minute break. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you can.
Yes, I will just come.
Okay, sir. So, dear participants, you can also take break and please come back by 3:15 or not 10 minutes. 3:22. Please come back by 3.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have the static power dissipation. So we'll see why the leakage power is important. So we can see here. See, as you can see here, the different technology generation like 250 micron, 250 nanometer, 180 nanometer, 130 nanometer, 100 nanometer, 70 nanometer. So you can notice one thing, that leakage power is dominant here. So as the device dimension is shrink down, you can see, if you notice in deep nanometer technology, you see the red line, that is the leakage is now dominant in this case. Okay. Earlier, if you see that 250 nanometer, if you go, yellow bar is more dominant. So at that time, you can say the dynamic is more dominant above 90. It is there. Dynamic power is dominant. Okay, but you will notice the leakage power is dominant. Okay, so nowadays the leakage power increases at a faster rate than dynamic power, and leakage power is become a major component of the total power dissipation. So there is a need a technology to reduce leakage. So nowadays the researchers mostly are focusing on minimizing this leakage power dissipation, because this is more dominant nowadays. Okay. Now, this is a power density, that is a power by area, that is a watt per centimeter square. So you can also notice here the leakage power is dominant if you compare with the dynamic power dissipation. So power density of this leakage is more as compared to the dynamic. Now, we will see what is the impact of process variation in leakage and performance. So this is taken from one paper, and it is the worker and all this. So these are the team in Intel. Okay, so you can notice here the normalized frequency. Actually, what they want to convey from this 30% delay variation. So and there is a mass production of the chip in industry. So the sum of the chips, the faulty chips are discarded, and they are come out with different types of variation. So 30% delay variation and 20x leakage variation between fast and slow dies reported for 180. So that is reported for 180 nanometer technology. So if the chip is low leakage chips with too low frequency must be discarded. If the frequency of the chip is too low, so that are discarded, and high frequency chip with too high leakage must be discarded. So when there is a mass production, all the chips, you can't say it is a good chips. There is a some chips comes out faulty, and that needs to be discarded. Because why this is happen actually, because the processing is going on different. There are various steps in fabrications. Okay, and if there is some variation and a little mistakes comes on any steps, then definitely there is the problems comes on the entire chip. So I think this is simple NMOS transistor, and we'll see the components of leakage power. So it is, you can see the Kaushik-Roy paper, and it's taken, and it is also in the Kaushik-Roy book. The one book is there, low power VLSI book. It's written by Kaushik Roy. One more good book is there by Professor, that is Ajit Pal. So this is actually basically taken from that, and you can see there are different components of leakages are there. So I1 here, we will see in detail one by one. So I1 here, it is the reverse diode leakage, sub-threshold leakage, drain-induced barrier lowering, gate-induced drain leakage, channel punch through, narrow channel effect, gate oxide tunneling, and hot carrier injection. We will see one by one what are these, and why it happens. So as we see in the mostly the deep amount technology, and we will look one by one what are they. So first, that is a reverse biased diode leak, reverse bias leakage. So how it is, and if you see reverse bias, like if you see the MOSFET, you can see the PMOS or NMOS. If it is connected, there is a diode will be formed. You see, and just I want to highlight. So if you see, simply run this NMOS plus there is N plus region. So this is your side, this is gate source. Okay. This is, suppose this is anti, so it is P substrate. Okay. So it is a P type. So if we have P or N, here is P or N, so it will form PN junction diode. So normally, if you see the, if I see in the inverter, suppose it's the same simple inverter, so, and MOS we are connecting to the PMOS we connecting to the VDD. Okay, so always there you can say at the this is your side source gate, then here will be output normal. So you can say it is substrate, you can see it is connected to here the lower supply. So and here if you see the normally NMOS we giving you positive. So depend upon the biasing condition and depend on the biasing, this in the diode and it goes in the, so what will happen sometimes what we are doing to you can say to change the threshold voltages, doing the threshold voltages, sometimes we are providing more negative supply, more reverse bias. Okay. Well junctions are typically reverse bias and called PN junction leakage. So a reverse bias PN junction, so it is happening because of PN junction. So we see here this way, like this forming. Okay, it is as simple as reverse bias junction. Okay, now what is PN junction reverse bias? If you see this is simple, the diode equation ID is equal to IS e raised to power minus k minus. P is what is the reverse saturation current. V is the diode voltage, is the charge, K is the volt quantity, is the temperature. So current is basically in the range of this. Obviously, I think they are taken for 180. Now, current is highly dependent upon this temperature. So every for current doubles for every 10 degree centigrade rise in temperature. So if the temperature is rising, the current will also rise. So if the temperature is rise, the current will also rise. So, however, this total static power due to diode leakage current for, so if you see for a single transistor, 0.1 nanoampere and 0.5 nanoampere is very less. Okay, this is very less. Okay, but if we see for the entire chip, power dissipation is very high. This power dissipation is very high. Okay, now another power dissipation is band to band. Another category is this band to band tunneling. So what will happen? You I think ever notice when your diode is reverse bias like avalanche or breakdown, reverse breakdown, Zener breakdown, and all these things. So there will be tunneling will happen. Okay. So the high electric field across the reverse bias PN junction causes significant current to flow, and that is known as band to band tunneling. And this current dominates the PN junction current. So it is happen at high electric field. Okay. Normally the avalanche and also these are also this. So now the subthreshold. So among all the type of leakage, you can see the subthreshold is the dominant one. Okay, subthreshold is the dominant one, and okay, so we'll see I subthreshold is equal to, if we want to characterize it for CMOS, I subthreshold is equal to I of 10 raised to power VGS plus eta VDS minus VDD minus K gamma VSB. I sub of is your subthreshold current when VGS is equal to 0. So normally if I want to define the subthreshold, like or you can say if I want to define, let's check for simple. So suppose that this is 0 and MOS and VGS is equal to 0, then there is a current will flow. Okay, there is a current will flow, and that is because of some magnetic area current will flow. That is your subthreshold leakage. We can also just want to explain with the help of figure here. So normally when your VGS here is 0. The VGS is 0, there will be no channel, but because of some minority, it will attract some electrons, some current will flow. That is very low value and called leakage current. Simply here, so these terms of and effect coefficient. Here eta is drain induced barrier lowering coefficient. We will see in detail, and so all these terms are there. Now, various mechanisms which affects the subthreshold leakage are drain induced barrier lowering effect, body effect, narrow width effect, channel effect of temperature. So we will see some few. We will see look this into the much detail. Drain induced barrier lowering. What is the drain induced barrier lowering? Like long channel. In long channel device, open drain are separated enough so their depletion region have no effect on the electrostatic potential. Okay. However, such devices VT is independent of the channel length. Okay, and drain bias. But in the short channel, however, the source and drain depletion width in the vertical direction and the source drain potential have a strong effect on band. Therefore, VT and consequently the subthreshold current of the channel device varies with the drain bias. Of the short channel device varies with the means. If you see, this is the long channel. So this one is your long channel. Now suppose this consider for 180 nanometer technology, like for short channel, like suppose there is this source and drain are very much near to it. It will come close to each other, and what will happen earlier when VDS is applied, you can say the VT will not affected, but when you say when it comes closer, so the band bending will be like this. There will be more band bending here. So it will be here the source and earlier space is there, but now it's more band bending. So because of this, what will happen? The VT actually it will change actually it will change the threshold voltage because of this band bending, and this effect we call this drain induced barrier lowering. Because of this is happens because of drain voltage VDS. Now effect, what is the body effect? A negative voltage, suppose we are applying at the substrate, okay, and it is normally the reverse bias and the bulk depletion region is widened. This increase in threshold voltage is known. See, body effect is nothing, just it is a changing of your threshold voltage. I am giving one example. So you can see here the VT is depend upon this VT naught plus gamma. That is the gamma is the body effect coefficient 2 pi f is the potential, and Vs is the body, and phi f is the Fermi potential. So how it will change if I change the substrate voltage? It is simply I'm changing the substrate voltage. So see, normally I am, suppose this is CMOS inverter. Normally I am connecting this PMOS to VDD and this NMOS to ground. Now, if I suppose change this to I will change here instead of VDD, amplified VDD plus delta V, and here is suppose VSS minus delta V. Means if the VD suppose 5 volt, I'm providing 5 volt plus something, and I'm giving more negative here instead of ground. What will happen because of this? The threshold voltage increase, and both the transistor now goes into reverse body bias. So when the threshold voltage is more, means what? So leakage less. So your transistor will enter into the reverse body bias. Now similar way, if I change this instead of just I reverse this, so the threshold will change. So this NMOS, PMOS, instead of if I just reverse it, I am just putting as VSS minus V, and here I am finding VD plus delta, just reverse the switching at a body terminal. So what will happen? Here the transistors will enter into the forward body bias, and as a result, the threshold voltage here goes down. Okay. So when threshold voltage is low, your transistor will work fast. Okay. Sometimes by tuning the threshold and tune our circuit. Okay. It depends on the application. Like if you want to reduce power dissipation, then you have to tune at high VT. And if you want to make faster, so it should be low VT. So change in threshold voltage, that is actually your body type. So Now, another thing is a gate oxide tunneling. So if you see the deep nanometer technology, we are shrinking down everything. We are shrinking down the length, width, oxide thickness, everything. So in the deep submarine technology, the oxide thickness, it's a humor, it's a very thin oxide thickness. And because of this oxide thickness, there is a gate oxide tunneling. So what is that gate oxide tunneling? So reduction in gate oxide thickness results in electric field across the oxide. Okay, and the high electric field with low thickness result in tunneling of electrons. So see, yes. So this is suppose this is your oxide layer. Okay, and it is suppose in deep submicron technology it is very thin. It is very thin, and because of this, at high electric, the low side thickness result in tunneling of electrons at gate to substrate or substrate. Okay, so we'll see what will happen. Yes, so this is simply there is a flat band condition and no bias is applied. Okay, now this is energy band diagram biased the tunneling of electron from state. Like when we apply VGS positive, so electrons from the substrate will tunnel toward the gate and cross the oxide. Uh, gate biases, electrons will go down to this. Okay, so in this way it will tunnel through oxide. Okay, now another term is gate induced drain leakage. Hello. Yes, gate induced drain leakage. So how it happens? The gate induced drain leakage. So it is also the effect of high field. So GADL is due to actually the high field effect in junction. When the gate is biased to form accumulation layer. So I think you have studied in the MOSFET accumulation, inversion. These are the layers. So accumulation what form when we apply the negative tension. Okay. And to form the accumulation layer at the silicon surface, and you can see there is a tunnel created for the magnetic carrier. This way from path. Okay, so normally it is also a high field effect in the junction of MOS transistor. Same. Hot carrier injection. So all these are actually this DABL and these you can say the short channel effects. So you have studied the short channel effect. Like short channel effects comes into the picture when your device dimension is stripped down. The hot carrier injection is simply in electric field here, silicon to silicon dioxide layer causes field. Normally, when I apply to VDS positive, the electron should come like this, but at very high field, what will happen? Some of the electrons get from the path and it enters into the oxide layer. The electron banding is called the hot carrier electrons and hot carrier injection. Okay. Now, another thing that comes through. Okay, what comes through? Actually, if you in the deep submicron technology, the source and drain regions are comes very close to each other. So overall, you can see the drain and source are very much close to each other, short channel devices, and depletion and drain substrate extend into the channel, and the increase in other pushes near to each other. The overall effect is called channel reverse bias leads to merging. So just to look. What will happen? Suppose this is your simple transistor. The P and the gate source drain. So in short channel devices, what will happen? Normally, it is here what form the P division layer. Okay. So in deep submicron technology, these sources are very close. So what will happen? The depletion region sometimes start touching, and when we further increase this VDS value, the depletion layer will increase, and sometimes it will touch to each other, source and drain. And because of that, there is a punch through condition comes into the picture. So so it is actually they merge. Okay, and which causes actually the punch through condition. So it is actually we can express as VPT is equal to NB L minus WG. So NB is the doping concentration of the bulb, L is the channel length, and W the junction width. So this is the punch through effect. Now, power dissipation, if you see, there are different level of power dissipation. Okay, so if you go at the amp level, it's 1%. At circuit level, it consumes 10%. You go to the logic level, it consumes 15%. You go to the architecture. So power optimization approach at high level are significant. Since research is the higher level of abstraction have a greater potential for power reduction. So if you develop a technique at the higher level, like architecture level, okay, then you can able to minimize more power dissipation. Okay. So different levels are there. Device level, and device can change to circuit, different combination sequential. Then you will make the blocks architecture. So if you develop any technique, power management technique at architecture level, then you are able to minimize that 10 to 90% of power dissipation. Simply behavior algorithm level means at you can say at the system level. Now another term that is a power delay product energy per operation. So that is one of the important. This one of the important. So power is a quality measure for logic, and it is simply the power into time. So PDP present a measure of energy as a apparent from that is simply multiplying power into watt, and it is in joule. Okay, and just the CV square F and T, and simply you can. So the PDP consumes energy consumed and simply if you see the validity of power delay product is a quality matter and the gate topology is questionable. So it is actually if you simply multiply it is a questionable. So it also depends on the gate topology and what type. So it measures the energy needed to switch the gate, which is an important property. So and more relevant combine the performance and energy. So energy delay product is actually we can say the power delay product by TP. It will come. What I want to convey here, if it goes on increasing the VDT, you can say the delay will reduce. So delay will goes down. Energy goes on increasing. And if you see the energy delay product, so it will come like this. Okay. So higher supply voltage reduce delay, but harm the energy, and the opposite is true for low voltage. We can see it is a, you can see it is a trade-off. In real is a trade-off. Shall I close? I think I will continue day after tomorrow. I have another lecture. This workshop. Hello. Am I audible to all?
Yeah, sir.
So I will continue day after tomorrow. It's not possible
Sure.
to cover everything.
Sure, sir.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, shall I conclude?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much, sir, for briefing the topics like sources of power consumption, glitching, power dissipation, etc. And once again, thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. And thanks a lot to the participants for their cooperation, even though we are having some network issues. And participants, we also have another session on Friday with the today's today's speaker, Dr. Rohit Lorenzo Garu. Thank you so much, everyone, your cooperation. Sir, you can leave.
Okay. Thank you all. I am leaving.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Hello?
Tell me, sir.
చాక్ పీస్ డబ్బా ఏమైపోయిందమ్మా తెచ్చిపెట్టాను.
Dear participants, you can leave the session.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay, thank you, madam.
థ్యాంక్ యూ, మేడం.
Tomorrow timings same, madam. 10 to 12.
Yeah, sir, same time. Yeah, so morning session from 10 to 12.